Hello everyone, and welcome to another adventure in beautifying. My name's Amanda, and today we're going to talk about podcasts. I thought I would open up my little Pandora's box of you don't know about me and tell you that podcasts are my current obsession. When I was commuting into the city for my internship over the summer, I wanted something to entertain me while I was waiting for the bus to arrive, waiting on the bus, just a nice way to wait. And I found that podcasts were a really awesome way to just spend time doing the mundane things that we do in life. So I'm going to tell you the podcasts I like at the current moment, and feel free to share with me what you like because I'm always looking for new ones. So here we go. My favorite all-time podcast of all time. Did I say all time? Because it's my favorite podcast of all time. It's Throwing Shade. So Throwing Shade has two hosts, Aaron Gibson and Brian Safi. Aaron is a very vocal, brassy feminist, and Brian is a gay man. And basically what they do is they talk about women's issues and LGBT issues that are happening right now, and they riff on them. And they not only speak so much truth. They are two of the funniest people that I have ever listened to. Seriously, so funny, so open, so honest. I can't recommend that podcast enough. When people ask me like, oh, you listen to podcasts, like what do you listen to? That is always the first one I go to because it's so hilarious, and you also get your daily dose of news and what's happening in the world, which is awesome. The next podcast that I love is WTF with Marc Maron. So Marc Maron is a comedian, and basically what he does is he has one of their guests on the show and he interviews them. But the interviews are so in-depth and really delve into each guest's psyche and their personal life and their struggles and what they went through. He is a recovering addict, and he talks a lot about addiction. A lot of the guests he has on also have dealt with the similar things. So they do talk about that a lot, and I find that to be so interesting. And it's honestly one of my more inspiring podcasts that I listen to. Also, Marc Maron's a super real person. He is very much not actively positive for no reason. He is who he is. He has his opinions. He's very eager to voice them. And I like his honesty. So I really like that podcast too. Another podcast that's similar to Marc Maron's but slightly more upbeat is the Nerdist podcast. So the Nerdist website was started by Chris Hardwick, who used to host Singled Out and did a lot of other hosting gigs, and basically he was kind of fed up with the jobs that he was qualified to do and auditioning and stuff, so he created his own network and started this podcast with now his two friends, Jonah and Matt, and he also interviews another person, usually a celebrity or a musician, something along those lines, and he interviews them, and it's awesome. The podcast is very similar to WTF with Marc Maron, except that it definitely is way more career-oriented. What are you doing in your career? How did you get to where you are in your career? Who inspires you? It's that sort of stuff. If you're looking for a real kick in the ass to get started on something, you need to start listening to The Nerdist. It'll motivate you. Or at least give you some really awesome insight into people that you admire, like Tina Fey or Benedict Cumberbatch. I just like a lot of interview podcasts, apparently, because the next podcast I'm going to talk to you about is similar in that it's an interview format, but it's called You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes. It's in the Nerdist network of podcasts, and basically Pete sits down with another person. At first it was a lot of comedians and people in entertainment, but he's talked to a bazillion different kinds of people since then. He's spoken to Deepak Chopra, he's had therapists and really spiritual people on his show, and he's really interested in other people's opinions on those things. So he really delves into some deep topics that aren't really touched upon in other interviews. Like the three things he hits are your career, God or spirituality, and love, and like their feelings about those three things. And it's always so interesting because he gets some really amazing anecdotes out of people. Usually his podcasts range from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, which can be long for some people. A lot of people aren't really into it because they don't want to listen to something very long, which I completely understand. My favorite podcasts of his are the ones that are 2.5 hours long, verging on 3. They really delve deep into topics that are very important to us. And it's just not like anything else I've listened to or probably will listen to. And then my final one, because this video is way longer than I thought it was gonna be, because I apparently have a lot to say on the subject of podcasts. But my last, but certainly not least, favorite podcast is Risk. So it's hosted by Kevin Allison, who is an improviser from New York, and he teaches the art of storytelling, which is something new that I didn't know was a technical art form, but after listening to this podcast, it completely and totally is. And he runs storytelling workshops and does storytelling shows in New York and Los Angeles, and he goes on tour, and he just has people tell their stories and their truth, and it is some of the most cool stuff you'll ever listen to. A lot of the stories that are on there are very lighthearted and funny and deal with topics of sex and relationships and that sort of stuff. But he also has people come on who bravely tell stories of heartbreak and tragedy and very negative experiences that happened in their life, and it is just so moving and honest. I think it is, under Throwing Shade, it is the most entertaining podcast that I listen to, because I just find other people's stories to be really, really interesting, and just seeing what people go through, the similarities I have with people that I don't even know. It's incredible, and I really think that everyone should listen to it. And that's that. If you have any other podcasts you want to recommend, please leave them down in the comments below. Again, I am always looking for new suggestions. Subscribe if you want to see more videos where I talk about things that I'm really passionate about, aka, I guess, podcast. Who knew? And I hope you guys are having a super great day. Hope you're listening to some podcasts, and I will see you tomorrow. Vlogmas is almost over. Can we talk about that? This is record scratch. Vlogmas is almost over. How weird is that, right? I will see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!